Let me tell you all a sad, sad story about fears and how I never overcame mine. First off, I want to mention that this trauma, I think, goes back to my roots, back to when I was still but a wee young child in the fields. You see, I think the first time this kind of thing occurred was when I was in the 3rd grade, around 8 or 9 years old. I was a dumb quack little elementary school kid with no regard for anything happening ever. At the time, I was in China visiting relatives with my mom and my grandparents, and at this time I was in like this kind of I was in this place with my second cousin. I think it was my second cousin. I have a lot of extended relatives. It was probably some random person, I don't know. The point is, we were there together, and it was raining very hard. It's a very humid place. China in summer is extremely humid if you went to where my relatives are, and so there were a lot of spiders. So here I am, I'm having a relatively good time, with my family, and we're just kind of there. Why is my sensitivity? Just kind of there. We're just chilling, and so we're playing with this beach ball thing. I think it was a beach ball. It might have been a volleyball. I'm not sure, but we were just playing with it because reasons. I mean, we were just kind of bored. It was raining really hard, so we were kind of trapped there. We were having a swell time. We were just doing our thing, but then I felt this ominous itch on my leg. It was. I didn't think anything much of it. There's a lot of mosquitoes in China, especially during the summer, because as I said, it's very humid and it's just the climate there, right? So I didn't think much of it. I thought maybe it was just like some random itchiness, like maybe God was scratching me in hopes that I would see the sign of life or something. I don't know. I just thought it was some random occurrence, but no. I waited a bit, and it persisted. I didn't like that. So my 8-year-old self looked down at her 8-year-old leg, and I realized right then that I was about to die. Not really. I just kind of saw like this just black spider. It wasn't even that big in hindsight. It was just this black spider. But the thing is, I hadn't really seen many spiders in my youth, because I lived in New York City for a long time, and there were like no spiders there because it's just like a city. It's not very good for spiders, I think, or something like that. I'm not sure. But anyway, there just weren't many spiders there. And so I was so unused to seeing this that I just like immediately freaked out. Hello. And started just like trying to punt it away. Like I just kicked my leg out like I was doing some freestyle yoga. And it didn't exactly work out too well. Oh shit. Fuck. Anyway, where was I? No, it worked out actually pretty well, now that I think about it, because I was able to get it off of me, and I didn't get bit or anything. It was just like a spider, it was just a spider on my leg, and it wasn't that big of a deal, but I think this incident traumatized me forevermore. Not really, it's not that easy to get traumatized, but seriously, man, I hate spiders. It's such a stereotypical thing, too, but it's true, I hate them, and I'm only slightly ashamed to admit it. That was the first incident. Second incident, I think, occurred in 5th grade. I was in like the summer of 5th and 6th grade, and I was still in China visiting relatives that summer, and it was like once every 2 years before. Well, it was just up until 5th grade because I stopped going for some reason. But anyway, that's not important. What's important is that it was the summer of 5th and 6th, and I was in my grandparents' condo because they have one, and I was taking a shower. So I got out of the shower to go, do the things you do when you get out of the shower. But then, it's a surprising thing. I got out of the shower, and for some reason, my eyesight then, my eyesight's really bad. I need glasses because I'm blind. But like back then, I could still like see kind of. So I was looking, and I looked down at the floor for some reason, and I saw like. What are you telling me? Okay, anyway, so I saw this this tiny speck, this tiny gray speck on the floor, and for some reason I decided I should investigate it. So that's what I did. I quack. That's what I did. I bent, and it was this tiny ass gray spider. It was the smallest thing, the smallest spider you've ever known to man. It looked like an atom. Okay, like compared to the spiders I've seen today since moving to a new state, it was tiny. Except I was still freaked out because, remember I was a New York City kid. I've seen like 1.5 spiders in my life, and this was 0.5. So I was panicked. So I was unnecessarily panicked, actually, I should say. and I fled. I just fled the place. I ran. It's like, it was ridiculous. It was like the FBI were after me. Just like, thank you. I just ran for dear life, man. Quack. Well, anyway, so I ran for dear life, and I went to the living room where my grandparents were, and I was like, guys, grandpa, papa, Gong Gong, help me, please, I'm in so much pain, I need your help, I'm going to die. And they were like, whoa, what's wrong, Joku, what's wrong? Tell us what's wrong. And I was, you know, I'm not an overdramatic person, so I just said, I'm gonna fucking die, there's a goddamn assassin after me, I'm about to lose my life, I'm your only granddaughter, please help me. So they did. They went inside and they killed the spider for me, and guess what? It wasn't hard at all. It was a tiny ass spider on the floor. And I feel like if this was an anime, it'd be like I lost an epic battle to my arch nemesis, but they weren't even in their final form, so there was no point to it. Now that was the second incident. See, I've only had 2 spider incidents before moving to this state. Now, I live in a different state now. I'm not sure whether I should say it, but I've probably already, I don't know. But anyway, this state has a lot more spiders. It's very wet. Like, it constantly rains, so you probably have already guessed which state it is, but it rains all the time, and other people don't like it, but I actually really do. But that's not the point. The point is, that means there are a lot of spiders. Like, a lot of spiders. I have never had to deal with this many spiders before in my entire life. I lived in the city. The only spiders I saw were the inflatable ones that my neighbors put on the roof. So I saw these spider kind, this new invasive species that had taken over my life. And let me tell you, I absolutely hated it. Quack. You. I am so stupid. But anyway, I think the first major incident of the spiders in my new state was, I think, around a month or so after we had first moved in. I was doing laundry with my grandpa because I'm such a good granddaughter that I do that for him. I love him. But anyway, I was doing laundry with my grandpa and was taking the clothes out of the bin that we just put it in. I saw something moving on there. So it wasn't like I was gonna be traumatized if I saw a bug in the laundry, you know. Even in New York City, there were a lot of ants in the backyard, so when we hung laundry back then, I would still see ants there, and you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was once a really big ant, but it wasn't a big deal. But then I saw some movement on like a shirt. I think it was my brother's shirt, and you know, I was just like, maybe it's another ant. I should probably check that out. And I checked it out. And it wasn't another ant. Yeah, I didn't really like that much, so, basically what happened is, I freaked out, and I just held the shirt, because, like, this spider was like, it had it was hanging on this silk string, shaking the shirt, and it was just, like, slowly falling, and it was awful. It was like it had that spell in, it had that spell in Minecraft. What's it called? It's like feather falling, except it. You. Quack. Anyway, it was like feather falling. It just, you know that thing where you fall really slowly? Yeah, it was that. And it freaked me out, man, because this spider was bigger than any spider I've ever seen in my entire life. So I just kept panicking. And so I handed this so I handed this shirt to my grandpa, like, and really frantically, by the way, just really nervously. Don't worry, friend, I'll come save you. You're now indebted to me. That's a life debt you owe me, by the way. But anyway, to my grandpa, and my grandpa took it, and he just killed it very easily. You know, he just like whacked it a couple times against a wall, and then that was that. It just died. And you know, my grandpa has always mocked me for my fear of spiders, and it's not like a mean mock. It's a very nice mock, and my grandpa's a very kindly old man, and so he was nicely mocking me about this. So he was like, Joku, you think this is a big spider? And I was like, yeah, Grandpa, it's bigger than my ass. And he's like, you have never seen a big spider in your entire life then. And he just kept saying that. And so one day I asked him, Grandpa, you keep saying that I've never seen a truly large spider before in my life. So would you care to show me what a large spider really is like? And he's like, there aren't any where we live, but I think eventually I'll just drag one up if I find one to see if I can show you. So a couple days ago, I think like a week ago, he finally found the photo, and he pulled me up and he was like, Joko, come here. And I got up from the dinner table and I walked over, and it was a tarantula. He was showing me this newspaper clipping of a girl holding her pet tarantula, and it was huge. It was the size of her entire hand, and I swear I think I legitimately got traumatized. Not really, that was a joke, but seriously, it was just his huge ass tarantula. And I've always known that tarantulas exist. I've just been like constantly in denial. That was completely useless. I don't know why you did that. Just constantly in denial, though. You quacking die, please, 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 finally, my god. What are you doing? Quack. Okay, thank god. Anyway, that's not my only spider story, though. There's just so much. As I was saying, so much more. You know, before, like, 2 days ago, I'd never actually seen a spider outside of areas with a lot of humans, like a lot of family members, like the living room or in like the stairwell. There were so many spiders in the stairwell, you have no idea. But there was a spider in my room just like 2 days ago, and it freaked me out because I'd stayed up till like 2 a.m. to go binge Attack on Titan with my best friend, and there was no one up besides me and my brother. And the thing is, my brother is a very fickle man. He's a strange one, you know. He's a weirdo. Sometimes he's just really nice and he'll just be like really fun and whatever. And sometimes he's just the biggest ass you've ever met on the planet. It's like if the Grinch and Mr. Scrooge were rolled into one. That's him half the time, and the other half he's just like a quack and archangel or something. I'm scared, man, because if he just shut the door in my face and said deal with it yourself, as he has done before, then I would just die. I knock over there, you know. I'm very hesitant, very tentative. I put on my best I'm a good girl voice, and I'm just like, could you just help me kill a spider? And thankfully he agreed. Otherwise, I think I genuinely would have died that day. In fact, because I've actually woken up both my dad and my grandparents, both of them actually, to kill spiders for me in the past. Like, I know, I'm a disappointment, but it had to be done. I didn't have any other choice. I actually have woken both of them up at like 1 a.m., just the worst times, and they were judging me so hard. My entire family judges me so hard for that. It's just a sad reality. Quack, 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 quack.